up, y'all? It's me, Erica, and we are down here. Peace, y'all. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica. It is nothing to talk about. I just saved a whole bunch of stuff. I haven't even read over it or reviewed anything. So I just saved a bunch of stuff. So we're going to go through those things today. If you haven't already watched, I do review Insecure. So I review it, so you guys can go watch Insecure review. And then I also want to watch, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Shout out to Hope. Yes, yesterday. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment, let the diva know you stopped by. You can go watch the Real Housewives of Potomac finale as well. And FYI, all 4 of the reunions will be behind a paywall. I'm not playing these games with these people. So you can either become a member and see the video or see our recaps of the reunion, or you can go to Patreon. It will be posted on Patreon for however long. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at what we've saved. Yesterday, T.S. Madison was on The Breakfast Club, and I was so happy to see her on there. Even though we have our issues with The Breakfast Club and how they navigate interviews, and you know how sometimes they can be very irresponsible when it comes to a lot of these topics. They don't have the range to talk about a lot of these topics. They continue to have people up to their show who shouldn't even be given a platform or their voice be amplified in any way. And they continue to do that. And so, you know, people have been asking for Maddie to be on The Breakfast Club for a long time because of the representation. And, you know, we love Flame Monroe, but Flame Monroe does a lot of pandering, and I'm just gonna be honest. She does a lot of pandering, and it's not a good look. It actually goes against the mission and the goal of what the LGBT, and then especially the T, is trying to accomplish in society. And then it's hard because when you have one person who represents a community speak from this community and quote unquote for this community, even if they're not speaking for the community, it will be one person who will take this, off code messaging and be like, see, I told you. They don't mind being called. They don't mind you not knowing their pronouns when it's just one person like that. So, we love Flame, but again, I feel like Flame's messaging is sometimes off. There's no code there. And that's just from my perspective. If you are trans and have a different perspective, you can go ahead and share it in the comments, because I really believe that, T.S. Madison, she represents just really this person who is clear on who she is. There's no mistakes. She's not allowing you, to overstep boundaries that she has set for herself. She has the best energy, like just a real comforting energy. She's a Libra. She just has that real comforting energy. The room lights up when she walks in. It was a really good interview. I loved how she talked about Boosie and, trying to say that Lil Nas X is a detriment to our community when you are literally on film telling the world that you had an adult woman RAPE your young underage sons and nephews in the hopes to train them how to FUCK. if anyone is more of a detriment to any community, it's people who like Boosie, who think like him, who support him, who don't see anything wrong. Even Angela was like, well, sometimes we just, they tried to gloss over it. Madison mentioned Boosie 3 times, and all 3 times, no, none of them expounded on that conversation because, like to Angela's point, this is what's normalized. It's normalized that little boys are traumatized into their masculinity in the form of being assaulted by an older woman, and older men, they see that and they kind of encourage that. And unfortunately, just a little bit off topic, when you do that, Madison shared a lot of personal stories that almost happened to her, or it happened to her, where the men in her family were trying to get a grown woman to, I guess, a rite of passage. It's really, really detrimental. And when I talk to guys and they tell me that their first sexual experience was with an older woman, overage woman, and an adult woman when they were children, you were essentially sexually assaulted. And then you were traumatized. And then you go out into the world and try to have regular sexual relationships with women. And you really can. You really have this disconnect because you were raped when you were a little boy. And it's really, really sad to that is something that's normalized in our community to the point where when a person, a perpetuator of that trope and that template that happens in our community, when he's uplifted and his voice is always amplified and he clearly is every single thing or representation of every single thing wrong with the Black community. And I don't care, you can say what you want to, but Boosie represents every single thing that is wrong with the Black community. Everything. Yes, I'm putting it on him and people like him. And there are a lot of people like him. And for them to gloss over the fact that you are okay, you're not even okay, but because Charlemagne, he said, he was like, there's no moral high ground that any rapper can stand on. None of y'all. So while y'all worried about a gay rapper or Lil Nas X, y'all really don't have a leg to stand on trying to say what is for the kids and what is not for the kids. You have proven clearly for the kids is violence, sexual violence. So we're not listening to you. And I thought it was interesting that she mentioned it 3 times and they didn't expound on it at all. The only thing that Charlemagne said was rappers don't have a moral high ground to stand on when it comes to anything. And I agree. Madison told us she has a movie coming out with Gabrielle Union. She also has a film coming out with Billy Eichner. I remember his name now. We know who Billy is, tall, like little Campbell soup kid face, but I really liked her interview, and I liked she was just, I don't want to have the surgery. I mean, it answered a lot of questions, and I was reading the comments, and I'm sorry, but the comments were like very positive. I'm not sorry about that. I was actually very surprised that the comments were really positive. A lot of people support Maddie. A lot of people were happy to see her there. I was happy to see her there. I tell Maddie every time I get a chance, I'll be like, girl, it's like I'm watching my cousin just reach heights and heights and heights and heights. And it's like she has such a great energy and personality that really helps. She talked about the fish comment. I am a cisgender woman, and I don't have any problem with the fish comment. Or the fish, I know because I'm really embedded within the community. I know that word is meant to say that you're fish, like you are fly, you feminine, you like cunt, you cunty bitch. Like it's just, you just fucking know. And when people don't know and they try to come into your spaces and try to police your lingo because they're personally offended by the lingo because the people in their community have attributed a fishy smell with bad hygiene, not necessarily calling women fish, but saying that you smell like a fish. So when you try to use gay men as accessories and try to get yourself in the gay community, and you're saying yes and read, girl, and all of this other shit. You saying all of this shit, and then when you hear the girl say fish, you're like, oh my God, you're triggered by that word, because in your heterosexual community, that word is a pejorative, and it's meant to describe that you have poor hygiene, and that is your own group of people. And it's so weird for me when you heterosexual people go into the LGBTQ community and tell them you can't say these words, and they're like, girl, we wasn't even talking about you. And first of all, you would never, lady and all, pussy and all, would never be described as fish. So let's get that clear. We done already talked about that and ran that shit into the ground however many years ago. And Maddie says, that she has stopped saying it. She tries to stop saying it because she realized that it offends another group of people. Let me tell you something. I wouldn't change shit. I'm sorry. I would not change shit, because it's never, ever said. It's never, ever said as a pejorative. It's never, ever said to insult another person. It is always said to uplift them and to compliment them. And so for straight women to come into a space that they kind of exploit, and then come in their space and be like, don't call me fish. And they're like, we're not. If I was Maddie, I wouldn't change it. If I'm in my community and I'm talking, that's like a white person coming in and saying, you guys can't say nigger. If I can't say it, you can't say it, and I don't like the way it feels. I don't like the way it feels when you say it. It's like, what? This is how we talk. What are you talking about? You're not even, first of all, you're not even part of this community. That's number one. Number two, how you going to tell me how I need to talk amongst my community? That shit is, when you think about it, it's a little crazy. But I love that she talked about that. I love how she said, this is my experience. I'm talking for me. I'm not talking for a group of people. We are not a monolith. And that just goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's like you have one person who speaks to the ignorance that another person outside of the community wants to hear. And they literally run with, well, Flame said, well, Maddie said, well, Sydney said. She talked about Sydney Starr, and she said she wants to, Sydney Starr has some growing to do. We know, we can look at Sydney and tell, like, she's just very immature and juvenile. You could just, it's like a little impish. She's like a little kid. Like, she just doesn't know where to go next. It's like, it's amazing to watch. And it's amazing to watch her try to navigate those things and try to be like, have this level of confidence. And she's really this like little kid. You could see the child in her. You could literally see it just like emitting off of her body. So she talked about that. I just really enjoyed that interview. And it was an hour. I was like, I hope it's not 30 minutes. I hope this ain't no 30-minute interview. They just get her in and get her out. But she sat there. She talked about Charlamagne. She talked about Kaya and that situation with Kaya. And what did we say? Kaya doesn't want to grow. She's stuck. Self-sabotaging Scorpio. I mean, and they exist. Not all of you do. Not all of you are self-sabotaging. Some of you evolve out of that. But Kaya is stuck and stagnant and happy where she is. And it's just, and it's not to take away any of her talent. She's very talented and everybody knows that. But she is okay where she is and she doesn't want to grow. I think for Kaya, she looks at growth as a way, and unfortunately a lot of people do, if they look at growth as a way of more visibility, and with more visibility comes with non-Black people watching you, and when non-Black people start to watch you, other interests start to be focused on you, and then they try to modify your behavior and they try to change who you are. And I feel like she is resistant to that, to being up under someone else's guidelines and rules and things like that. And she just goes and she rebels against that. That's how I see Kaya. I have always seen her like that. I've always said she's stagnant. She's stagnant. She's happy where she is. Like Maddie said, she's going to be in front of that bookcase before we all dead and gone. She's going to live longer than us. But I love how she talked about Wendy, and about that purple chair and how it just is eating Wendy up. And it was just a really well-rounded interview. I loved her. She talked about her family and the pronoun situation And, Maddie is very serious about her pronouns. Don't call me anything. And she, we saw the T.S. Madison experience, and we saw what happened with her father, and how after all that, he did ask her for some money to buy himself a truck. Niggas ain't shit. Anyway, so speaking of Wendy Williams, so shout out to T.S. Madison for being on the Breakfast Club. We love you over here on this channel. You are the best. I'd be like, Maddie, stay in their faces. Stay in their faces. And she's undeniable, and her energy is undeniable. It's like you cannot deny it. And you could see her growth. Maddie and I are from the same generation. You can see her growth, and you could see, like, I love to see it. You can even see Charlamagne's growth. And even though he has a lot of growing to do, this whole thing that he has where he sends healing energy in a way to circumnavigate a conversation, that's like growth that you need to work on, because we're not sending healing energy as a way to deflect from having a conversation. That's unhealthy. But when she was talking about Buffy the Body and how he was dragging her ass back in the day, he did not look amused. He did not look like he didn't want to talk about it. He kept looking down, and you could tell he's not proud of that. He's not proud of that. And that's when you could tell that somebody has grown a bit. We all, like I said, it's a constant transformation. We're always transforming. That's why, it's okay to say, last year, this is how I felt. This year, I have a new perspective. And with that new perspective comes a new way of thinking, right? And I just love to see that happen in people. And I did see that in Charlamagne yesterday. I was looking at him, and I kind of felt bad. And I think Maddie picked up on it real quick. Like, oh, you don't want to talk about that? Yeah, because you were a beast. You were a hot mess, roasting people. Now, speaking of Wendy Williams, we know that's how we met Charlamagne. And same as Maddie, I've been following Charlamagne ever since I met him with Wendy Williams. Ever since. The Jasmine brand is reporting that Wendy Williams' talk show ratings have been growing in her absence. Despite Wendy Williams being absent from her daily talk show, the show is still attracting eyeballs. According to reports, the Wendy Williams show jumped 33% in household ratings the week ending October 24th. Season 13 delayed. Premiere week posted a 0.8 rating, up from the previous week's 0.5. Reportedly, Wendy Williams ranked 5th on the syndicated talk show chart, up from 8th. Dr. Phil, live with Kelly and Ryan. Oh, Ryan Seacrest is on there now? That's crazy. I haven't watched that in a long time. Is Regis still alive? Hey, Siri. Is Regis Philbin still alive?
Regis Philbin was born August 25th, 1931.
Oh, he was a Virgo? 2020. He died last year, July 24th, 2020. But his birthday is August 25th. Shout out to Regis. Now, I'll tell you, I love me some Regis Philbin, honey. I love me. Anyway, Ellen, Kelly Clarkson, all ranked ahead of Wendy. So Wendy's show is doing good. At least, she can rest knowing that they haven't like put her damn show down the damn toilet. But shout out to Wendy Williams. The darkest dot hue on IG. She posts these kind of essays that are on IG, and they're like 10 images. And she talked about the real colorists of Potomac. And she talked about the colorism, the blatant colorism, the microaggressions. It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link to the post in the description box. But I'm just going to read a little bit of what she says. She says, while watching last week's episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac, I was shocked that Gizelle and Robin didn't call out Ashley for her offensive comment about Alzheimer's towards Mia's husband, G. It was not only an ageist comment, but it was also hurtful to Karen, whose deceased father immensely struggled with Alzheimer's. I couldn't help but wonder if there would have been a stronger response if it had been Candace who made the comment. Ashley and Candace have both said some pretty hurtful and damaging things about each other, but it seems like the cast and fans are harder on Candace. Based on what I've observed from this show, Giselle, Robin, and fans alike would have immediately descended onto Candace and berated her if she had made the Alzheimer's comment instead of Ashley. So why the double standard? Candace Dillard Bassett and Wendy Osefo and dark-skinned women everywhere know why. Candace has even said that she is held to a different and higher standard than Ashley because of colorism. She explains, having light skin imbues one with a certain level of privilege that darker hued counterparts are not allowed it. Standards are different. Wendy Osefo, another victim of colorism on the show, has addressed the coded language her light-skinned, racially ambiguous castmates use when talking about her. I think there's a history of certain words that are inflammatory, that are often targeted and used for women, and I think it's very interesting that Ashley continuously uses buzzwords. She says aggressive and ferocious. So they have these images here. Number one, emphasis on the palatable features. On the show, best friends Giselle Bryant and Robin Dixon openly bonded over their shared light skin and green eyes, even branding themselves the Green-Eyed Bandits. We want to make that correction. It was actually Monique who gave them the name Green-Eyed Bandits, but they have taken it and they love it. And everybody calls them that. Giselle's Instagram profile picture is of her green eyes, and she has tweeted about her green eyes in relation to the show. Predominantly light-skinned, number two, a predominantly light-skinned, racially ambiguous cast. It's no secret that the original cast of RHOP had a specific look to it. 5 out of the 6 of the castmates were light-skinned and or racially ambiguous. Today, 5 of 7 of the main castmates are light-skinned and or racially ambiguous. She starts talking about Giselle Bryant and being Vanessa Williams. It says, on top of her generational wealth, Giselle Bryant's green eyes and light skin gained her access to prestigious men, opportunities, sororities in her youth. She was an AKA at Hampton University in the 90s while colorism was ripe on campus. She then entered a prestigious partnership and when she married Pastor Jamal Bryant. Crazy. However, light-skinned and racially ambiguous remains the standard. Even more dark-skinned women gain access to elite beauty spaces. She was talking about her being Vanessa Williams for Halloween. Candace is regularly accused of being uniquely mean, rude, and shady, and Wendy is often barraged with colorist-coded insults by her castmates and fans of the show. Giselle Bryant. Candace Dillard wants to be Ashley Darby. Giselle Bryant has long suggested that Candace Dillard is jealous of Ashley. She is on record saying, I think Candace wants to be Ashley. There's some deep-rooted something there. Do Ashley's palatable features make her more legitimate in the pageant world? Candace's crown doesn't exist. Ashley's does, Giselle said about the castmate. Despite Candace's wealthy upbringing, Ashley's palatable features likely gained her access to a more prestigious Miss District of Columbia pageant title. It is clear that all of the ladies of RHOP are elitists and believe wealth equals value. So why does Giselle think that Candace, who had a much more privileged upbringing, is jealous of Ashley? Also, Giselle Bryant's and Robin Dixon's colorist coded language, referring to Wendy as insecure, angry, aggressive, combative, and jealous. Giselle and Robin claim that they call Wendy insecure because of her numerous cosmetic surgeries and infidelity rumors surrounding her marriage. However, they don't accuse Mia, who has had more cosmetic surgery than Wendy, of being insecure, and they don't accuse Ashley, whose husband has been exposed for cheating, of being insecure. This begs the question, what makes Wendy insecure but not Ashley or Mia? Baby, when I tell you, Giselle calls Escala, Wendy, and Karen Huger's room accommodations the servants' quarter, And from what we know here, this was the 𝐏𝐚𝐭𝐫𝐞𝐨𝐧 estate is actually literally a former plantation. So Giselle knows you're the daughter of a civil rights leader who walked with MLK, an educated woman who likely knows the history behind house slave and field slave, joking about two dark-skinned women being regulated to the servants' quarters. Honey, when I tell you they read it down, everything. There's no denying it. And it would be clearer. It's crazy because it would be clearer if all of the women were white, and then it was Candace and Wendy and Ascala, and all of those women were white, and they were acting the same way and saying the same things and calling Wendy loose, and everything Candace does is just blown out of proportion. We would have a problem with it. We would be down here every day calling out racism. But when it's light-skinned black women, it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I don't know. What do you mean? Oh my God, you guys are just overreacting. Oh my God, everything is not colorism. Let me tell you something. We live in a society where our social constructs are built around you in order to have you fall in line with these tropes that I've always talked about, right? Being white, being male, being heterosexual, right? I always talk about being Christian. I always talk about that. And it's not uncommon for people to fall into these things because of the way that we operate as a society. For people to deny it when it's actually clear, that gaslighting reality and saying that this is not what's happening, it's very unnerving, because if those women were white, you would completely understand it. And that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me that a lot of people are just like, everything is not colorist. No, everything is not colorist. However, when you're dealing with a woman, specifically like Giselle, who puts absolutely no effort into anything, it makes you wonder, is she getting by simply because of her looks? Because she puts no effort into anything. Not the way she dresses, not the way she decorates her house, not the way she does her hair, nothing. Even coming to someone's wedding, she wore a tennis shoe. That TikTok video that I posted yesterday of her showing herself going back and forth with a camera, cutting to a plant, and then cutting back to herself and going back and forth with a camera, and then cutting to a mug. No creativity, no intention, no effort, just face. And at 50 years old, you've been told all your life, you look like this, here's this, you're getting access to this. You don't have to put any effort into anything. All you need to do is find you a man that will take care of you. And at 50 years old, banking on your looks for every single thing, even to the point where she has told Wendy, you hated me since the moment you saw my beautiful face. A lot of people do. So that tells me where you put value, honey. And this is your life. So it's not uncommon that people who have had a life like that, to where everything is handed to them just based on the way they look. Nothing else. Seems familiar, right? A lot of white people get shit handed to them simply because they're white. Nothing else. Look at Megyn Kelly. How many damn shows has she had on TV? She ain't shit. She has no talent. Look at Tammy Lauren. No talent. But you're giving access to things simply because you're a white woman and you look a certain way. That's what it is. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. We'll get down in the comments and talk. Tracee Ellis Ross, this is from the Jasmine brand. Tracee Ellis Ross, I'm being called the poster child for single women. What I would prefer is that I'm the poster child for living my life on my terms, it says. Despite being the daughter of legendary Diana Ross, Tracee Ellis Ross keeps a pretty low profile and doesn't get into a lot of details of her personal life. The 48-year-old hasn't publicly been in multiple high-profile romantic relationships, and she's become known for being single. Now she's addressing the people who say that she's the poster child for being a single woman. Reportedly, Tracee Ellis Ross said, "I didn't see enough examples of different versions of how women can find happiness and joy and power and sensuality, sexuality, all of that, without it being through the lens of how I'm seen by a man." Let me tell you something. As cynical as I am about relationships, as cynical as I am about just partnering with men who have been socialized in this world, there was something about the way that I was walking through life that I was still looking at myself through the lens of a man. Like, and it's a byproduct of being raised in a patriarchy, in addition to your family dynamics being centered around the men, even though they were really not the patriarchs. It was really the women running the households. Even though my grandparents were both sides, grandparents married, my aunts married, my other aunt is married. My dad got remarried and divorced again. I don't know how he was able to get in relationships after what he put his first wife through, my mother, but that's where we live, in that kind of world. But with all of those things, I still was looking at myself, right? Even the way that I looked at my body, it was like, is this attractive? Is my body attractive? Attractive to whom, Erica? Who? Attractive to who? A man? Oh, okay. And knowing, like, when I look at these women who are altering their bodies in order to make themselves more and be more desirable for a partner, and knowing how fickle and sometimey the male is in society, right? You realize that you can't walk through life through the lens of a man, or you'll be switching up. You won't be happy with your body. You won't be happy with yourself. You won't be happy with your accomplishments. And you have to learn to look at yourself outside of what a man would look at you as. And that, when that happened for me, it was so freeing. It was literally a weight lifted off of my shoulders. And I'm like, I don't give a shit what these niggas think about. I just don't care. I just don't care. I don't look at myself through their lens anymore. Girl, I don't care. I'm blowing on your lens, honey. You can't see me. You can't see me. Okay. So I didn't see enough examples of different versions of how women can find happiness and joy and power and sensuality, sexuality, all of that, without it being through the lens of how I was seen by a man. The Blackish actress continues, "People are like, you're the poster child for being single." And I was like, great. But what I would prefer is that I'm the poster child for living my life on my terms, and that there's a version of that for everyone. I don't live my life for other people. I just totally live it for me. This is something that I really solidified. This is something that has really solidified itself into an unbreakable, unshakable foundation. This is something that has really solidified itself into an unbreakable, unshakable foundation in the last 4 to 5 years. Good for her. Good for her. And good for all women who come into that space where they literally take off the man goggles and put on their own fucking goggles and look at themselves. And that's the one thing I think that's wrong with Giselle Bryant. It's because you've been told that and been given things all the time, and you figure, I would be more successful if I was attached to a man, and it's easy to get a man because of my looks. But now you got to go off of your brain. You got to go off of your, how your skill set. You got to go off of that. As you get older, you can't bank on your looks. Whether it doesn't matter, you just can't bank on those things. Are fleeting, right? And it doesn't last. It doesn't last. And I think a lot of what Giselle has an issue with, and it's like, what society has told you is this is what you need to do, and you don't want to do that, but you have been so programmed that this is how you're supposed to move through life, that it gets scary. And it's like, okay, well, let me just get in one more relationship. Let me just get in one more relationship. And you're just like, literally at the base, you're like, I really don't want to be in a relationship. That's why I was like worried about Molly on Insecure. I know it's a fictional character, but she does represent a lot of women who don't or can't see themselves alone. And there's no it's like really sad. It's really sad that we, you know, have this idea that we have to travel, mountain high, valley low, trying to find a partner. And then if it doesn't work out, going to find another partner, and not even like spending time with yourself, getting to know yourself, getting to know what you like, you looking at your body and knowing what you not like, and not looking at yourself and the clothes that you wear and how you present yourself as for someone else's viewing pleasure, or to make yourself desirable or pleasing to someone else. I love Tracee Ellis Ross for that. I love that she's living life on her own terms. When you think about the terms that are set for girls to women, and how many women are taught that this is what what you need to be doing. You need to be in a relationship. You must be in a relationship. Otherwise, what value do you have in society, right? Ironically, if you're in a relationship and you're with somebody, and once you're not with them anymore, then like 2 weeks later, somebody's like, "Are you gonna get back out there?" You're like, "Get back out there, goddamn! I just came inside, bitch." And it's like, it's so weird, because it's like pressures from society, pressures from everywhere. And when you are literally living life on your own terms, it's really a more peaceful, it just really is more peaceful. It's more peaceful. It's just like, I don't have to worry about it. Like the other day, I was just thinking to myself, I don't want to have to walk on eggshells. I was just feeling bad for people who are in relationships with people and have to walk on eggshells around someone, right? I'm glad, like I'm grateful that I don't have that. I don't have that problem. I don't have to deal with someone else's unhealed trauma, someone else's inability to communicate. I don't have to deal with none of that. And it's just so freeing. And it's like, if I was, even though I am the way I am about, relationships and things like that, there was still a part of me that was still like a program, like a chip was still, I had to deprogram it. I had to defragment that shit, because it was like literally like, you know, how do you look to someone else? Are you desirable? Now I don't even give a shit. I don't even give a shit. Anyways, what else is going on? Let's see. Did y'all see Peter? Oh, he looks, a lot of men, your beard saves you. And I always say, you can tell if a man is really actually handsome once he cuts his beard. If he cuts his beard and he's not handsome, you ain't cute. It's your beard is cute. That's what's making you cute. That looked kind of weird. Did you see that picture? I'm not gonna hold it up. Who is this? This looks like Amber Rose. Oh, she's getting lipo. She explains that she has scar tissue from having 2 C-sections. Whatever, girl. I don't know why Michael Rappaport is going to be a guest on Wendy Williams. I don't even think he likes black women. That is ridiculous. Oh yeah, there was cheating rumors about Cynthia Bailey and Mike Hill. This is from the Jasmine brand. They said they were definitely considering legal action if the situation continues. They don't like it. They don't like the rumors of Mike cheating. I don't know why people make up stuff like that. I just don't. I mean, what's her name said in Salt Lake City, everybody talks about everybody. Everybody talks about everybody. Let's see. Oh, Jay-Z officially joined IG. He's only following one person. And Beyonce is only following one person. No shit. No shit. Um, Tyler Perry. Okay, we'll come back later with that. Anyways, y'all, let me go because it's time to go. I got 15 minutes. I'm going to make me some coffee real quick. And there's a lot of stories. I still have some stories to go over. Iyanla Vanzant received death threats while filming Fix My Life. If that isn't an example of the toxicity, how the hell on a show called Fix My Life, you just don't like what the woman is doing? You don't like her. A lot of people didn't like Iyanla's, style and her approach. A lot of people didn't like it, but death threats, y'all doing too much. Like that man who sent a death threat to Claudia Jordan. talking about he's entitled to his opinion, INTITLE, 2 words, entitled. While you threatening to put a BULLET in somebody's head, you gonna say you're entitled. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion, girl. How you? Let me shut up. I was really about to be real ignorant, say something really mean and ignorant, but I won't. Anyways, y'all, take care of each other and protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Peace.